Look at this. Now look at this. See the difference? I've done my fair share of plyos throughout my 2.5 years of vertical training. There were a lot of things that didn't work, but there were a few select things that did work, and I put them all in a plyometrics workout for you guys to follow and get your balance up too. Absolutely no equipment is needed at all, since all of these only require your body weight. You can do this at the gym, you can do this at home. Just make sure you got an open space or high enough ceilings. First, you gotta warm up. If you've seen the second to last video I posted, then you know I do isometrics every single day. So that's what I start off with. I usually do leg extension isos, 5 sets for 45 seconds, but since I said no equipment and body weight only, here's a good alternative. Wall sit isos. Having your back against the wall, with your knees at about a 90-degree angle, your thighs perpendicular to the floor. With this, you're driving your heels in front of you so that you're keeping constant tension in the patellar tendon. Holding that for 45 seconds for 5 sets is good. And after that, you still want to ease into the plyometrics workout. I like to do a combination of jogging, skipping, dynamic stretches, and all that stuff. Usually lasts me about 15 to 20 minutes. Now for the actual workout. I just want you guys to remember that for every single exercise listed here, for every single rep, you want to be performing each rep with 100% effort. It might be obvious, it might not be, but it's so important that you put in maximal effort. Anything less is a waste of time. We want our bodies to surpass our limits, right? The only way we could actually improve, if we want to jump higher and get more explosive, then we want to push our muscles to its limits. You're not going to improve if you're half-assing your reps. So for the first exercise, I got hands down the best exercise you can do to increase your vertical and dunk. And you need this in your routine no matter what. Max approach jumps, 6 sets by 4 reps. If you've been doing vertical training for a while, or you've been following my channel, then you probably already know this and know the importance of it. But for those who don't know why this is good, it's because this is the most specific you can get to actually dunking and jumping, because it's quite literally the movement that you're performing in game or when dunking. It's like if you were training to run fast by doing a lot of sprinting. Same concept. The more you do max approach jumps, which is exactly the thing you want to get better at, then your technique and coordination will also get better. It's so important that I have a day specifically for max approach jumps only. I go to the court, warm up, boom, max approach jumps. But doing it in a plyo workout is efficient too. I would say to perform these with your main approach if your main goal is to only dunk or jump high. If you're a basketball athlete, then you probably want to be good at both, the right left and left right approaches. Same for 1-foot jumpers. If you're a basketball player, then you probably want to be good at both, jump off left or jump off right. I would say to have 2 reps on each approach for 6 sets. Next, I got squat jumps, 4 sets by 6 reps. Going down into about a quarter squat position, you're exploding up, and once you land and reach that quarter squat position again, you're exploding back up. And what I like is that the continuous jumping loads both the eccentric and concentric portions pretty well. A way to make this harder is not to include any arm swing. You're using only your leg power to get yourself up instead of momentum. But yeah, this is a really good exercise. Next, I got another top tier exercise for your vertical and athleticism in general. Sprints, 6 sets by 30 meters. Why sprint if you want to jump high? Shouldn't you be doing more jumping instead? Sprinting is an exception. Well, it's because sprinting involves really short ground contact times, which extremely works on the stretch shortening cycle, which is pretty important in jumping high. The stretch shortening cycle is the efficiency in which we can shorten our muscles right after lengthening. You'd experience this in a jump when you're doing a penultimate step, lowering down into the ground and exploding back up. With sprinting, the stretch shortening cycle is worked on even more. With each step of a sprint, you're eccentrically contracting your muscles so that you're not losing momentum, and immediately after you're concentrically contracting, which is what causes such small ground contact times. And to be able to do this fast, your tendons would have to be stiff so that the transfer of energy is quicker, and that's exactly what sprints work on. Tendon stiffness and the stretch shortening cycle. And like I said before, translates very well into a vertical jump because a very elite vertical requires the same things to be strengthened. Next, I got drop jumps, 5 sets by 4 reps. You might think these are depth jumps, but they're not. Same exact movement, but while depth jumps have you jumping off a platform and jumping as high as possible, drop jumps have you jump off a box and jump as fast as possible. 2 completely different things. For drop jumps, you're not too worried about the jump height, but rather the speed at which you land and jump back up. Works on the same things as the sprint does, tendon stiffness and the stretch shortening cycle. And since it's about speed, you don't want the platform to be too high, because if it was too high, then you wouldn't be able to jump as fast. But yeah, it's all about how you could absorb the force and transfer that energy into a vertical jump. And last, I got pogo jumps, 4 sets by 12 reps. Different from the other exercises in terms of reps, because 12 is pretty high. That's because pogo jumps are an extensive plyo, meaning they're not as energy consuming, while an intensive plyo requires maximal effort. So a max approach jump or sprinting would be considered an intensive plyo. With pogo jumps, you're jumping off your forefoot and landing on your forefoot. And the goal is to not let your heels touch the floor at all. It's going to work on the stiffness and the springiness of your Achilles tendon, and it's also going to work on your calves. And with this as well, it's also about jumping as fast as possible. This plyo mainly focuses on the lower leg, below the knees, which a lot of people kind of ignore. And to make it even harder, you can do single leg pogo jumps. Same concept, jumping off your forefoot and landing on your forefoot, not letting your heels touch the floor, but it is pretty hard to do that. And that's the full plyo workout. If you've seen the video I posted a year ago, which was my old plyo workout, then you know that this one is pretty similar, but I did add a few changes to this one, remove some things that I did in the last one, so I would say this is an improved version of the last one. Something that bothers me is that I've gotten so many comments of people worrying about increasing the vertical by X amount in an X amount of time, and if that's your mindset, there's really no point in training. As a beginner, you will see good progress by doing this exact workout, but as you jump higher and become more athletic, your gains will be less and less noticeable. Don't expect to get a 40-inch vertical in a few months. It took me a 1.5 to 2 years of vertical training to get there, to get to a 40-inch vertical, to get to a dunk. Don't expect to see generational progress. You're gonna begin to see yourself fighting for just an inch of vertical. So in the beginning, you might see a lot of progress. Don't get discouraged that you see a little bit of progress in the next few months, because that's just how it works. So just stay consistent with the workout. I would say to do this workout twice a week, along with one strength workout per week. I'd say that can increase your vertical by a pretty decent amount. But yeah, as you become a more advanced vertical athlete, these plyos become less and less necessary. I'm working on a video and explaining that though, but you don't want to stick to the same workout, the same routine for too long, because your body's probably going to adapt to that eventually. So once you keep doing that, it's kind of going to be easy for you, so you're not going to be improving at all. So you got to change your routine every now and then just to give your body a different stimulus, and eventually your body's going to need a more strenuous workout for it to actually improve. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I try my best to answer every single YouTube comment, so if you comment on my YouTube video, it's pretty likely that you'll get a reply. All right, later.